There has been a dramatic new development in a case in California that made international headlines years ago. A woman who admits that she faked her own kidnapping agreed yesterday to plead guilty to charges of lying to federal officers and mail fraud. Sherri Papini faces potential prison time and more than $300,000 in restitution. She is yet to be sentenced. Papini, you may recall, originally told investigators that two Hispanic women abducted and tortured her for 3 weeks. Lilia Luciano traveled to Redding, California, to find out how her lies affected residents in that small Latino community there.
34-year-old Sherri Papini reported missing at about 6 o'clock last night.
The report of a missing wife and mother of two on November 2nd, 2016, who disappeared while out on a jog, shocked the tight-knit community of Redding, California. Neighbors volunteered for grit searches. The networks landed to cover the case.
Just bring her home. Bring her home safe.
And law enforcement made finding Sherri Papini a top priority, says Shasta County Sheriff Michael Johnson.
There was an extreme amount of pressure put on law enforcement.
The nation was watching, and locals were on edge.
We used to walk, me and my husband, and I said, I'm not going to go walk by myself no more.
Private investigator Bill Garcia was so concerned about the mom, he volunteered his services to her family.
Well, I think it brought fear, especially to other women, that it could happen to them.
An anonymous donor offered a 6-figure reward to find Papini, who reemerged at dawn 22 days later, chained, bruised, branded with a big story.
Sherri described her assailants as two Hispanic female adults.
According to the FBI, she accused the women of brutally torturing her. The hunt was on, and new fears settled in Redding, where Latinos were less than 10% of the population.
A lot of people would tell me, and they had to be Hispanic, and they have to be. I said, well, that doesn't give them a good name either, but...
So there was shame in the community?
I guess.
She specifically picked out a gender and a race to name as the suspect. So any Hispanic woman at that time, I'm sure, is getting an eyebrow raised and looking in there wondering, wonder if she could be connected or one of the suspects.
So people were being questioned and stopped and asked questions by law enforcement?
Yes.
They were afraid to go out together in one car or a van. To women.
Could be suspicious.
Yeah, to be suspicious. Or to be stereotyped, or to be insulted.
Araceli Gutierrez is a radio host and an advocate for Hispanic women. She says for many Latinos in the area, the more they heard, the less they bought Papini's story.
When they did the sketches, like she had a bandana, like, come on, we don't walk around like that. We know the people in our community.
Through DNA, cell tracking, interviews from Papini's former boyfriend, and other evidence, the FBI said its investigation indicated it was all an expensive hoax by Papini, costing taxpayers more than $230,000.
And to find out that it's all for naught was very frustrating.
In a statement through her lawyer, Papini said, "I'm deeply ashamed of myself for my behavior and so sorry for the pain I've caused my family, my friends, all the good people who needlessly suffered because of my story, and those who worked so hard to try to help me." Meanwhile, other missing women just vanish from their homes and the headlines. Like Hilaria Marmolejo, a Latina and also a mother who disappeared 2 months before Papini from a neighboring county.
These ladies deserve the same respect and attention like anybody else.
Other cases are being set aside, and other real victims are not getting served, and other real suspects are not being pursued because we're chasing a ghost that doesn't even exist.
For CBS Mornings, Lilia Luciano from Redding, California.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this story is so maddening because at the time, a lot of us felt that story was very fishy, and it seemed to keep changing. But the way that she just sort of blamed the Hispanic community at that particular time
caused
a lot of very upsetting.
Yeah. A lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
And pulled police resources to her case, which wasn't a real case, and took it away from all these others. Right.
And when people who were legitimately missing, their time isn't given to that particular case. It'll be interesting to see how she's sentenced. It seems like jail time could be in order here.
Yeah.